Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad Supercoach Pro. Today we are looking at a video on some of the draftee candidates. Now, Cal Toomey is probably the best for a mock draft because generally he's got inside word and knows the top 10. I feel like it's 70-80% he gets right from the top 10, generally speaking, most years. The other mock drafts are quite similar. The only one that's way off is ESPN. For some reason, they're just looking at a whole different ball game apparently. Like the bids were weird. Like no bids done. I think Richmond will bid. I even reckon West Coast will bid just to make these top clubs pay up. There's no way you can give Gold Coast and Brisbane these players not bid on them. At least Richmond do something because we've been nicknamed Bidman before. So I'd like to see us grab CDT at pick 3. I think a lot of mock drafts I've been watching on YouTube have said obviously Dersman's number 1, and then 2, it's been pretty varied from there actually. 2's been up in the air between 2 or 3 players really, and one of them is CDT. Now I'm not sure West Coast needs are a CDT right now. They probably are because he can play forward, and their ruck doesn't look that great with Flynn and Williams, who they've been sort of rotating, even played both of them at stages. So not sure what West Coast will actually go for on the day. I mean, there's always some curveballs. Even we saw the Tigers last year with number 1 pick. Like we didn't always go for people that were predicted by the public, even if they do have inside word like Cal does generally. You do see some shocking random picks that people are not really expecting and just highly rated by the team rather than just an overall perspective. Because the teams will always go for talent first, you'd think, but then also list needs is a huge thing anyway. So CDT is the kind of guy I want at Richmond by far. I think it just makes more sense for us to draft him because we don't have a life about Nank, in my opinion anyway. So hoping we get him. And this is just a quick snapshot I use for some of the draft players as well, this website, because it does tell you about what they're like as a player, their weaknesses, their strengths, and whatnot. So it does help for my Supercoach rookies because I'm not all across it like some of them are. Draft-wise, I don't like follow any of the under 18 competitions during the season because I'm so caught up on the main thing. So for me, this is what helps me the most when I'm trying to do rookie research. Snapshot gives just a brief summary. We know how athletic he is, but strengths you can see here: athleticism, cleanliness, follow-up, work, mobility, upside, versatility. Very much apparently like Luke Jackson, probably not as strong hit-out-wise apparently. Physicality you'd think would improve over the years, especially ruckman. They normally take a bit to grow into their body at 6'8", whatever it may be. And ruck craft, surely Nank can help him out if West Coast don't snatch him off us. But it'd be interesting to see if Essendon do pay up for him and maybe they take our pick 4, we move back in the draft, and maybe we get something back as a second pick to make it actually worth it and recruit a couple of midfielders instead of CDT. But in my opinion, I just think he'd be the guy we need after Nank, and maybe him and Sim are that sort of ruck duo. When it comes down to it, I'm not really worried about the height either, 200 centimetres. Like, yeah, he will be on that lower side a little bit, but he will be sort of almost like a 5th midfielder, they reckon. So for me, as a Richmond man, if you didn't already know, that's why I'm talking about him. I hope we draft him. And the second player I'd rather draft is Sutherland. Robey is the other guy I want Richmond to pair. Picks 3 and 4. If it does stand that way, I feel like someone's going to come after at least one of those picks and we might get a good deal out of it, sort of like what North Melbourne did last year. We got their first round pick for like whatever that was, a pick in its 20s, which was stupid by them, to be honest. But Robey for Mano, he's a bit of a bolter. Not as much, evidence behind him being as consistent as some of these other guys. And I know Sharp has fallen down the boards and whatnot. But I think when I do look at a mock draft, I tend to look at Cal's, especially when you release a November one. That would be probably as close as it gets to being spot on. Because he definitely talks to the clubs outside of it. So I just hate how they do a part 2. Like, they don't do it in one night. They do like all the first rounds picks in one night, and it goes for like 2.5 hours or something. And then they do from picks 20 onwards on night 2, which takes a while too. And they should just do it all in one night, to be honest. But anyway, Robey for me as a Tigers supporter, 192 midfielder. I think that would be good. I know we've got Smiley, who's a big body mid. Robey even can rotate in forward line with Layla as well. So I think he's the guy I'd be picking. Like, I wouldn't mind all these big sort of midfielders. I know the game sort of, by the rule changes, look like it's going to be more of a fast-paced game, or so they reckon. But the rule change is ridiculous, in my opinion. The on-the-mark rule, standing on the mark rule is ridiculous. The out-of-bounds thing was quite strange as well. It's just so many things that just make football not football anymore. So I'm kind of frustrated that every year AFL thinks they have to make rule changes to make the game better. But in fact, they're just making it harder for the players to adapt, because every year, 5 or 6 changes. This year's 7 are happening. It's just ridiculous, but I'm not going to get into that too much. I'll get on a tangent. Robey says he's got clean hands, ability, physicality, power, scoreboard impact, size. Improvements, decision making, exposure. That's fine. Like, I think he's one of the guys. I really want him. 192. Like, I'm pretty sure Jack Reevel's 193. So quite crazy that he had like a late growth spurt, and now he's a tall mid. So, yeah, for me, they're the 2 players I want. I wouldn't know who I'd get if CDT wasn't on the board. Maybe Grill. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but a bit of pace on the outside wouldn't hurt Richmond. I think Richmond definitely just need mids and, someone to back up ruck, because our Richmond future is not Samson, Ryan or Hayes. I can't see him playing ruck after Nank. I think they're just insurance policy sort of players. Thomas Dow's gone, so obviously we're looking at midfielders in this draft. Hopefully Kelway slips to our last pick, and we can use pick 38 on a mid potentially, or maybe a halfback flank. And I just think they also need to play Seth Campbell around the ball, and Morris Jr. in the midfield as well. Wouldn't even mind Mansell playing some mid time just to get some speed on a game for Richmond. But it's not limited to be a Supercoach video. I do know that. But this is still relevant because these are the players. So this is the website I use for the draft players that do make my decision in some Supercoach decisions, especially in the middle of the year when I'm looking for a certain player and I haven't really heard about him. This is the place I normally go for it, because that tells you pretty much everything you need to know. And then by then you can just type in the player's name in the VFL, and then you'll see their VFL stats throughout the season as well. So again, thanks for watching. Sorry, this is more for Richmond one than anything. I'll do more content on Supercoach picks tomorrow. I'll probably go into players like Clayton Oliver, Jack Steele potentially, and a few other players. So any players in the comments, just leave them down below and I'll get to them as well. Again, thanks for watching. Give us a like before you go, and sub to the channel if you haven't. I'll be doing a lot more content before Christmas as well. So thanks again for watching. Cheers.